Hello and welcome to another episode of Intentionality, podcast where we talk about purposeful life. Today we have, what do we call Sumit? Yogi, triathlete, a runner, a strength coach. I can say he is the epitome of intentionality. So welcome Sumit. Could you please introduce yourself to our audience?
Thank you, Satija, for having me here. I'm very, very happy and glad that we're here today. Happy to have made it, after the last rescheduling. So, and thanks for the introduction. A couple of things that I've done, but what do you call me? I think just a human who smashed to be better every day. And it started with running and yoga, and then went on to explore, further distances. Then I kind of learned about the sport of triathlon and then tried that as well. So, someone who strives to be better in all domains, be it yoga or running and now triathlons, and then not just the sport, but also in life in general.
Yeah. How did it start? What made you get into this? What was the calling?
So it's incidental, I would say, but there was an intent to do something. It was about, I think now 15 years ago. I was quite heavy. I weighed about 90 plus kilos and I didn't like it. Nobody likes to feel that you're not fit and you feel lazy, lethargic. And so there was this thought that, hey, I need to do something, something for my health, something for fitness. And so I started walking around the park or jogging around the park. That's where it started. I lived in BTM at that point in Bangalore. And still, when I pass that park, I kind of remember those times, because I could barely run 200 meters. But then, just did what I could, walk, run. And then around the same time, my mother was unwell. And it's something very common problem that she had, which is a knee issue, like arthritis. But in her case, she couldn't walk. It was like she was in pain and she was not able to get up and do normal day-to-day life work. And this was 15 years ago. She was about 51 years. Quite young, to face such a problem.
Right.
And I didn't know how can I help her, but I wanted to do something. And so I spoke about this situation at my workplace. And at that point, they were kind enough and understanding enough to let me go work remotely for a month and kind of take care of my mom's health and then come back. Because I was worried at work, and then somebody noticed around and they asked, hey, what's the problem and how can we help? I shared the problem. They said you could you could go and do this. And this was 15 years ago when work from home was not a thing, right? They is doing it.
So good of them.
Yes, really good of them. And that's something, which really, I think, changed my life for good.
Right.
So I went home. My mom lives in Lucknow. She's still there. And next is, what do we do? How do we solve this problem? And then that's when I learned about naturopathy and yoga kind of center, which was run by Vivekanand Hospital itself. They had a unit there. And I would take her there for these therapy sessions. They would, I think it was a yoga practice modified for ailments. They would use different equipments or belts to modify it for that, so the patient can do it easily. And of a couple of days, I would take her, I would sit there, do nothing, right? Wait for the sessions to end and come back. I was really bored to death over there. What do I do sitting here? And somebody said, hey, why don't you also do it?
Yeah.
You're just sitting here, right? Why don't you try? So they had yoga classes, and I also started practicing there. And a month just passed by. My mom was really feeling better. She improved a lot in that month. She continued later at home on her own, but there was a drastic change and improvement that I could see. That's I realized, hey, this is kind of magic, right? That's clearly demonstrated to me like movement is medicine, and we should all do something for our health. And these problems that we are facing today are all lifestyle problems.
Right.
And that's when I came back to Bangalore, I started kind of practicing yoga. I joined a studio nearby my house then in BTM. Dhriti Yoga, I remember the name, and I'm still in touch with them. and started practicing there. And while I started practicing, so yoga and running, we both continued at the same time. I was practicing yoga in the mornings, running in the evenings. This went on. And then I came to a point where I could do everything what was being taught in the class. There was like, and then an opportunity came wherein they wanted to go out for some demonstration and some performance somewhere. And they asked me, hey, would you kind of be happy to assist us? I was like, very happy, like, okay, I didn't know that's something I could do and it's possible, okay. So I went with them and I demonstrated the postures, and it was a great experience. So I really loved it. And that's when I thought, like, what else can I do?
You learn a lot when you teach, actually.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. True. Right. So, sorry, that was, I think, a long answer for a short question. But I don't know what I missed.
So that's the trigger. The trigger to get started
was these two, like an intent to do something for my health and my mom's condition and her recovery.
Right.
That's really kind of gave me that clear vision. Like, what is the outcome if you do this?
Right.
So once you know clearly the value in doing something, I think nobody needs to push you to do it.
Right.
And that really goes with our, I think, Scrum teams as well, right?
Absolutely.
Since our teams realize the value, right? What are we doing and what is the outcome and not just the output?
Right.
I think they are self-motivated to work towards that goal, sprint after sprint, and kind of work to it.
So that's pretty much the intentionality, the purpose-driven life. So if I fast forward now, it's been 15 years since you started on this journey. You're a triathlete, and I heard you saying, you want to work towards completing a full triathlon as well. If you were to look at a purposeful life, for anybody for that matter, how does it look like for you?
Purposeful life, I think, three words that come to my mind always, that is happiness, health, and peace. So if you are happy, if you are healthy, and you are peaceful, I think that's a well-led purposeful life. And every other dimension would be covered with it.
Right.
Be it your relationships, be it your finances, be it your professional growth. Everything else sums up for me in these three words.
Okay. That's a great way to put it. So if you were to practice the same thing with your Scrum teams, how do you practice it?
That's an interesting one. So, first of all, listening to your teams. I think that's one thing. Scrum in theory and Scrum in practice, I think, become two different things.
For that matter, anything.
Anything, I would say, yes. So I think first thing is to listen to your teams and to create an environment where a team can speak openly. Biggest problem, I mean, I've faced and I still face at times is people don't speak.
Right.
Right? I mean, I know you have a problem, but I want to hear it from you. Okay? Because that's something, if there should be this openness in the team and the courage that we say, like, we would have the courage to do the right thing. But I think that's something for Scrum Masters and the leaders to build an environment where people feel safe.
Right.
Psychological safety is the most important thing for people to speak.
Absolutely.
And action on those, whatever concerns or issues you hear from your team.
All right.
So I think it's two-way. It's the team and the management both have to work together. And to bring this happiness, health, and peace in a team, retrospectives, deep dives, discussing problems openly, giving that safe environment for the team to kind of come up with their questions, concerns, suggestions. Also, kind of explore what do they wish to do? What are their goals? I mean, their goal, the company's goals, the team goals, they should all align at some point, right? To achieve that purposeful life and mission, be it at work or outside work. I think that's something we need to stick together, and that's what I try to do. But it's not as easy as it sounds to be, I think.
In fact, it sounds more like common sense. Like when you are bringing up kids, unless you give them that psychological safety, they may not open up. Like my daughters now easily come and tell me you are weird. If at all I had gone and told this to my father, he would have beaten black and blue. So I did not have that psychological safety to go and openly express. So I guess sounds pretty much like a common sense of bringing up kids and family, right?
Absolutely true.
So you have spent a lot of time educating yourself about yoga, not just practicing. You have educated yourself a lot. So what is it about yoga that attracted you?
So I think the education why I went in that direction is because what I experienced with the practice, I really wanted others to experience.
Okay.
And me being a medium of that gives me a high. Like that's something which is something I cannot explain in words. And when I'm teaching a class, I'm in a space which is of mine.
Okay.
Like it's a different world. There is I cannot think of anything I don't know. That's how it becomes. It's a state of flow basically. When I'm teaching, because you cannot take your focus away from your students in front of you. Think about something else. You may miss a count, or so it's not that you may miss a count, but it's the connection that you make and the experience that you are sharing. That's the intent with which I started. So, and the first course I did was from Shivananda, like 14 years ago or 13 years ago. And for that, again, I'm very grateful for my employer at that time and for them understanding my passion and my inclination towards this. I was away for a month from work and yes, it was like, yeah.
It was a rigorous training.
It was a rigorous training, 1 month residential course, and that was my first one.
Okay.
And this happened not right after, but after I was practicing with Dhriti Yoga, and I thought I came to a point where I could go to the next step, and I was thinking what to do, and this course was really there's a story behind it which is interesting one. It was, I think, at the time of December or so. Same Christmas vacations time and people going on leaves and exploring things, and I wanted to go somewhere. I had some leaves in my kitty because I did work hard and there were like a lot of comp offs with me and they were all going to expire, and I really wanted to go somewhere. But then none of my friends had leaves. I was not married then, and I had no company to go along with somebody. I was thinking, what do I do? I was doing some random Google searches, and that's when I came upon something which is yoga vacation. 13 years ago. I'm like, what is this? This yoga vacation. So, and I thought, okay, let me explore and then experience. It was a 2 weeks, 15-day kind of a vacation program, which still is conducted at the same ashram, and that was my first ashram experience. So I went there, stayed for 2 weeks, learned what they taught, and really enjoyed the experience. That is when I learned that they have a teacher's training course in a program, wherein you could kind of become a teacher with 200 hours of training if you go there and stay for a month. Came back with that intent, and took me an year to kind of discuss, plan, convince my team, kind of make sure that work is not affected, and also be on a kind of be on the toes. If there is something critical, I'm going to drop it and come back. So with all of that, it did happen, but it took an year to plan. So that was the first yoga course, and then it went on. Like after I completed that, I enrolled for a master's in yoga, which was in Jigni SVSA University, and it was a part-time course. I think it was designed well for working professionals, where you keep visiting them after like every 6 months for your exams, and also a contact program where they teach. So it was well structured. Also got to spend some time at their hospital, Arogyanam, doing an internship. So it took me about, I think, 2.5 years to complete the degree. And it was a great learning experience. And I've been able to share what I have learned with my students. So
hope your friends don't think that Kash would have taken this guy on a vacation. He turned out to be a yogi because we did not take him on a vacation.
That discussion didn't happen, but yeah, I think it's an interesting one.
Hope they don't tease you.
I think initially, I don't know if they ever teased me, but initially you have, right? I mean, you have a different lifestyle and a different life, and then you slowly, gradually change and transition, and you become something else. But then in my case, it was not like a flip. didn't happen overnight.
Right.
It happened on a very gradual way. Like maybe if I'm partying with my friends till 3 a.m., it became 2 a.m., it became 1 a.m., it became 12, it became 10, and it became none. So that's how kind of gradually it went down.
So that's a good cue. If somebody has to transform themselves, and you cannot really flip. You cannot really stop quitting smoking.
There is no magic pill. There is no shortcut, and there is no sudden gains that can happen in any field. And if they do, I can bet on it, it will not be consistent.
Right.
And you can go on a crash diet and kill yourself and lose 30 kgs in a month, but then you cannot sustain it.
Right. Ultimately, what matters is the sustainability.
Right. So anybody who is planning for a change, be it like in organizations, transitions, transformations, or individuals who are trying to transition or change their careers, chase fitness goals, health goals, or like goals like scaling the Everest, running a marathon, give yourself time and believe in yourself. First of all, you can do it, and it's all doable. It's a process. People have done it,
right?
And nobody kind of learned it from day one. Give yourself the time, know what is the effort needed, and take one step at a time.
Right.
You could have your North Star as, I don't know, maybe doing an ultra man, but then you have to start with a walk.
Right. Absolutely. So given that you and your background, last 15 years you've been on a journey, and you give 100% to something that you like, and you get fulfillment out of teaching, did Scrum Master role come naturally to you then?
That's a very interesting one. I didn't know that this role existed like a couple of years ago, and I heard this word a lot. Like I think 5 years ago, Scrum Master. Well, I didn't know what it is, and 2020 I switched jobs. It was right at the start of the pandemic. I mean, I worked with an organization for 11 years, where all my transformation happened. Then I moved to a different organization right at the start of pandemic, and I moved to a different sector altogether, healthcare. But pandemic was there, and every company was facing losses, and that's when I also kind of was made redundant. And that 7-month break I had, I was exploring and thinking, what do I want to do next? I mean, I have a break now. Let me pause and think, what do I really want to do? And that's when I came across Scrum Master.
Okay.
And I was like, this sounds like something which I want to do. And this aligns with my vision, purpose, passion, and goals for future as well. But how do I do this? So that's when I again started educating and learning, and started PSM 1, then watched a lot of videos on YouTube, went on and did another certification, one I did with you on product owner. So I think in those 7 months break that I had during my career, I think I've done close to 40 odd online learning certifications, education related to Scrum, Agile, project. And I was clear, this is what I want to do. And then I was waiting for the opportunity, which I got, and then I got into a Scrum Master.
Got it. So one good quality that I see in you is, first figure out what you want to do, get the clarity. Once you get that, just dive in and educate a lot.
Absolutely.
Right? So that's important. So whatever role that you're getting into, educate yourself, but have clarity.
Have clarity. Once you know what you want to do, I think that is half the job done.
Right.
Similarly, in I think our organizations, once you know the problem clearly, you can solve it. Very often we don't have the problem statement, right? And it's working towards it. I think.
So your personal transformation and then the traits that you have, did that help you at workplace as a Scrum Master and helping with transformation?
Absolutely. A lot. I think the personal trait and what I built through practice of yoga and and running itself is being neutral in most phases or states, like being too happy, too sad, mostly neutral. When I do feel happy about things and sad about things that don't go well or do go well, there is enjoyment. But at large, I am able to stay neutral. And I think that plays a very important role in my job as well. Being a Scrum Master, first of all, not bringing in the conditional or unconditional bias, being aware of it at least if you are bringing it in, and being able to stay neutral when you are listening to different members of the team or different parties involved, that really helps.
So two things there. I don't know whether I'm using this word right. Equanimity, like being neutral to the situations and sensations, which yoga helps, and being mindful of what we do, mindfulness. So if you take these two from yoga, do you think that would be a great toolkit for Scrum Masters, and has it ever helped you in any situation?
Well, not just Scrum Masters, I would say all working professionals would help. And one thing which I wanted to add to it, as I think I forgot, was the emotional intelligence. You'll be able to connect with your team and people. Right. We are all driving or chasing some goals in life at organizations, but then at times you have to take a pause. I mean, there might be a team member who needs more attention than the goal you are chasing. Right. So with these practices, especially yoga practice, that awareness comes in, not just for self, but for your surroundings as well.
Right.
You would be able to connect with your team. And I think as a Scrum Master, if your team member comes and tells you, hey, I'm feeling low, I have this problem or something, then you are doing the right thing. But if you hear it from someone else, there is something you need to do about it.
So that means we have built that transparency, that culture of openness.
And at times, you may not be able to do anything about the problem. And that's okay. Often people just want to be heard. They don't want you to come and solve all their problems for you. They just want to be heard and not be judged.
So that's a great point. So if you want to measure yourself as a Scrum Master, make sure that people are openly talking to you, whether you are capable of solving it or not.
Absolutely.
They're expressing it.
Yes.
So that's a great point. Nice. So if there are Scrum Masters who wants to get into yoga, is there a specific type of yoga that they should start with?
That's an interesting question again. So for agile teams, it could be anything, right, that they follow, right? They could follow Scrum, they could do a Kanban, they could do a Scrumban, they could follow scaled, anything. But then I think the goal is one, right? I mean, you want to be delivering value to your customers and as quickly as possible. Similarly with yoga, no matter what path you choose or what style you choose, there are different paths of yoga like Raj Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Gyan Yoga, Karma Yoga, and different styles in the physical practice. You could do like Hatha Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga primarily. No matter what you do, it will all lead to the same ultimate goal. So you can choose a path that you like, but then to know what you like, you have to explore.
Okay. Educate yourself.
Yes. So don't think, hey, I'll do it tomorrow, or this is too tough for me, this is too... Just go and experience. In today's era, there is everything available online. Everything is available offline if you're in Bangalore or anywhere. Sign up for a class nearby. Go and experience. To do it for a week or a month. If you like it, stick to it. If you think, no, this is not something I can connect with, try something else.
Makes sense.
I mean, fail fast, fail safe, and improvise.
So, if you live in Bangalore, of course you live in Bangalore, so you know about the situation. The traffic is so much. And if people travel to office, by the time you're back home, it's 8 sometimes because of the traffic. The energy is fully drained. People hardly have energy left to do anything. Of course, you are 100% committed. No matter what, you make it happen. So if someone has to get started from that situation, how would you suggest them start?
maybe we can start with.
Stay tuned for part 2.